For this assignment, I chose to do Art Nouveau. Art Nouveau movement was a time in history when the arts and crafts unified with a new artistic style, which created a total work of art. Inspired by the natural world, Art Nouveau flourished across Europe beginning in 1880. This movement was advocated by painters, architects, textile, jewelry, and glass designers. It was an important time for the arts and left a mark. The term Art Nouveau first appeared in the 1880s in Belgian journal L'Art Moderne to describe the work of Les 20 painters and sculptors seeking reform through art. This new art was advocated by Eugene Emmanuel Lallet-Leduc and John Ruskin, who advocated for the unity of all arts, arguing against segregation between the fine arts of painting and sculpture and the so-called lesser decorative arts. Art Nouveau artists were deeply influenced by the socially aware teachings of William Morris and the arts and craft movement, and therefore began the movement of Art Nouveau. Great success was achieved in many of these art forms as artists worked to gain the synthesis of arts and crafts and the creation of the uplifting total work of art. Their goal was to modernize the design and abandon the previous classical styles. With this goal in mind, these artists used flowing cinemas lines inspired by nature and often used intense colors and asymmetrical forms to stand out from the historical type of art. As you begin to look at these artists' work, you can see how their styles adapt to the movement as they start to revolutionize architecture, textile design, visual arts, jewelry, and glass design. It wasn't until 1895 when German-born art dealer Siegfried Bling opened the gallery L'Art Nouveau that we saw Art Nouveau gain an international audience. As success struck and Art Nouveau spread, he was credited for his accomplishments. Art Nouveau architecture was a statement of national modernity and aesthetic taste, enabled by the materials steel, iron, and glass, and techniques of industrialization. One of the best-known architects at this time, French designer Hector Guimard, was known for one of his abstract flowing styles, which are found in the Maison Cailloux in Lille and Castle Beranger in Paris. He also designed metro stations throughout Paris, which were built for the 1900 Exposition Universelle. Alongside Hector Guimard, other architects of this time, like Victor Horta, Joseph Elbrich, and Otto Wagner, were known for their expressive, organic designs, which consisted of colorful flourishes and detailed glass and ironwork. Designers attempted to design projects that would work cohesively inside and out. Art Nouveau's vast influence on European culture prevailed architecture on a large scale and is still valuable to us today, leaving a lifelong impact. The dedication of these artists to inspire others to create new art meant that their styles highlighted craftsmanship over industrialization in the height of the Industrial Revolution. Their designs had no limits and showcased Art Nouveau on an even larger scale. Architects with Art Nouveau influences achieved the movement goal by steering away from the boring and factory-made designs by standing out from normality and creating unique buildings like Casa Battle to the left and the Old English building to the right with beautiful, whimsical accents and designs inside and out. In the age of industrialization and mass production, there was an urge among the artists to create appreciable work in Art Nouveau. As art was changing, people started questioning objects they were purchasing as well. The Industrial Revolution was a huge time in history, but civilians started to realize that these mass-produced items lacked craftsmanship and style. Objects inspired by Art Nouveau, like furniture, lamps, and other home items, were designed with an environmental focus in mind as well as good craftsmanship, which stood out above mass-produced goods. Below you can see some examples of Art Nouveau-inspired home items. Artists like Victor Horta not only designed houses but the furniture throughout. His furniture designs feature the same natural-inspired lives and decorative forms. To the left, you could see some of his examples of the interior of these architectural buildings, as well as the furniture. Belgian architect and furniture designer Gustave Bouvet also had a strong influence on the movement. You could see his Art Nouveau-inspired furniture to the right. He designed many pieces like this, which helped inspire other furniture designers. Before Art Nouveau, the decorative arts were divided into separate categories, but Art Nouveau was about the entire life, concerned with the connection between nature and your body in nature. Not only did Art Nouveau become a concept, but it was also a way of life for many. The movement was designed for everyone, so you didn't have to be rich to value the style in your own home. Another important role of the Art Nouveau movement was to connect not only all the arts, but also social classes. Art Nouveau pieces resonated with the new middle class, were often opulent in detail and materials, more so than pieces made for the nobles, making both classes more equal. Not only was the movement providing relationships with all the arts, it helped civilians feel more together and not distinctly separated into traditional social classes. This serious movement was to create a better life and was something with real content. By not only focusing on the rich and privileged, but on the labor class by adapting the way they lived as well, changed society's view of them and overall created better and more enjoyable lives for many. Although Art Nouveau went out of style in 1910, it is considered to be an important transition between the old historical art style and modern design. The Art Nouveau movement had great influence on illustrators, artists, and the printing trade in America, including the Art Nouveau revival period during the post-war 60s hippie movement. Art Nouveau has begun to make a revival in the last 20 years. Today, Art Nouveau still stands in architecture across Europe and all around the world. It can be found in museums or homes and even stores, like Tiffany Co., created by Louis Comfort Tiffany himself. These examples are all around us today, and we still are inspired by this style and movement. The Art Nouveau movement was an incredibly important time, and is connected with the old world with the new one without having to forget our history but being inspired by our history to break new barriers. I believe in today's world, we, the new generation, takes history and revives it in our own way. Art Nouveau is soon to be popular again in art, fashion, and design. Here are some final examples of Art Nouveau inspired works. There's advertisements, illustrations, stained glass, ceramics, jewelry, and even typeface, which are all influenced by this movement.